What's up, YouTube? Just from Team Misplay here. Gonna be doing a new series called the Quasar series. It's gonna be a bunch of deck breakdowns of drastically different decks that all are focused around one thing: making formulas, librarian to Quasar. All right. So today we're gonna start with Quickdraw Junk Doppel. So let's get to the deck. Got team member Phil here explaining the deck because these are decks that he's created. Alright, so starting off.
Alright, so first we have our Synchro monsters, which is 2 Junk, 2 Quick Draw. Feel definitely a Quick Draw that 3 is too many. It'll create dead situations in your hand, and you'll have monster cards that you don't want to discard to special summon it. And the only downside to the card is that it can only make Synchron tuners. Synchro monsters. And since we only run like 3 or 4 of them in the extra deck, it really creates awkward situations. So 2 is a really good number for him. For Junk Synchron, I feel 2 is a really safe number for him as well. 3 can create dead situations as well, where if you don't have targets on the grave to pull out. So to avoid that, we just play 2. We run more than enough monsters and support through hand traps and other cards to make him more than useful too. Alright, so next up are our cards that combo well with Quick Draw and Junk Synchron. First is Level Eater. It's probably one of my favorite level 1 monsters. You special out of the grave by, if you have a level 5 or higher monster on the field, you eat one of its levels down and special Level Eater. There's no limit to how many times you can do that in a turn. Level Eater has an infinite usage. Level Eater also helps eat down some of our bigger Synchro monsters if we need to be able to synchro into other monsters like Quasar, which is the main thing. It helps eat downs level 8s and level 6s and level 7s down to manageable sizes that we can use them as synchro material. It's also really great if you pitch it with Quick Draw, or if you open Quick Draw Level Eater and another monster, you just pitch that monster special Quick Draw, summon Level Eater, go Drill Warrior. Doppel Warrior is pretty self-explanatory. His name's in the title of the deck. He's necessary. He makes that easy librarian and the 2 tokens that we can just get the level 1 tuner out there and go right into formula and draw 2 cards. By having a librarian on the field. He's just really good. He splits himself in half when he's using synchro material, even if the synchro is negated. Especially whenever you have a monster special out of the grave. He's just an amazing utility card. Alright, special attack choices. I play 1 Photon Thrasher. It's a 4-star, it's a 2100 attack, so it's a beater. I like playing it a little more over Cyber Dragon, especially, the main reason is if I'm going first and I have Photon Thrasher in hand, then I'll just summon Thrasher, set back Roko. And Thrasher creates a lot of problem for the opponent, especially since it's a 21 beater that they may not be able to get over on turn 1. Or it helps bait out back rows that you may be afraid of, that you don't want messing up your synchro plays to go into bigger monsters. Alright, so one of the main fallacies of the deck that we had when the ban listed was that we lost not only Spore, but we also lost Glow Bulb. And so we lost 2 excellent level 1 tuners that were both utility cards. So to fill that spot, it's funny how we have to replace 2 monsters with basically 4, and we play 2 Unknown Synchron, 2 DD Sprite. Unknown Synchron is like Cyber Dragon. You can special it if your opponent controls a monster and you don't. It's a level 1 tuner, and you can only activate its effect once per game. So, it's a lot, and it's very similar to Glow Bulb. Just has a slightly different summoning condition, like a baby Cyber Dragon, or very similar to TG Striker. DD Sprite is a card that not a lot of people pay attention to. It's a 1-star tuner, and you can special it by removing from play one of your monsters that you have on the field, and then during your standby phase, it special summons that monster back. One of my favorite plays is easily when I drop Gores and I have the token, I'll banish Gores, special DD Sprite, sync for an 8, and then on my standby phase, I get Gores back. And I have a Gores and a level 8 synchro monster, so I have a lot of board presence. It's really good if you draw into it right off the Librarian combo, and you have 2 tokens up. You have a monster you can banish. Formulas like if I go Junk Synchron, Doppel Warrior, make Librarian, banish a token, special Sprite, go formula, draw 2. It helps make a lot of plays or open up a lot of field position that you wouldn't normally be able to. And the banishing a monster to try to protect it multiple times of banish a monster, sync for Black Rose, blow up the field, then I get my monster back on my opponent's standby phase. Alright, so next we have our hand traps. 2 Veiler, which is our only other 1-star tuner. Sometimes use the tuner, large majority of the time it's used for defensive play, stops big effects from going off. It's more just a defensive card. One Tragodia. You're playing a Synchro deck. You have to play Tragodia. We have more than enough we have a good range of 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s in the deck, so we can easily take control of opponent's monsters, using Synchro material. And one Gores. Gores is at 1, and Gores creates a very dominating board presence if you have no cards in the field, which can be the case with this deck. Alright, so in the rest of our monster lineup, which is more just utility cards, spot removal, stuff like that, we have Double Card Trooper. Helps put cards in the grave, gets us 4 deep. Card Trooper is just a good all-around card. Draw a card when it gets destroyed. 2 Reiko, just great spot removal, gets rid of monsters, gets rid of back row, gets rid of whatever we need it to. More just a utility card. 1 Debris Dragon. Debris Dragon for those plays where we just need to wipe the board, whether it may, pretty much just the Black Rest play whenever we need to. 1 Dandelion. When it's milled to the grave, or when it's sent to the grave from anywhere, so if it's used sea material, sent from the deck, sent from the hand, sent from the field, sent from the Banished Zone. We get 2 tokens, you can use those tokens to make bigger Synchro plays. 1 Sangan. Sangan grabs almost every single card in the entire deck, minus a few cards like Gores, Trag, things like that. It pretty much grabs almost all the monsters that we need. And then 1 Zephyros. Zephyros is a card that I've been playing a lot with. It's interesting how well it combos with some cards and how it can create some dead plays. If I go Debris Dragon or Junk Synchro on my opponent Veilers, I can just bounce them back to hand, special Zephyros, and I get my play next turn. Alright, so now for spells and traps. First of all, our search cards, we play 2 tunings. I felt 2 over 3. I don't want to clog up my spell trap lineup, and I want to have as many monsters as possible to utilize the ability to go Quasar on turn 1 or 2. 2 tunings really helpful. Search out any Synchro monsters, so basically just go grab any Junk or Quickdraw. It has the option of grabbing Unknown if I have one of the 2 in my hand already, or I can make it, make a vital play with it. But most of the time it's going to grab Junk or Quickdraw, and it mills the top card of my deck. Sometimes I get lucky, hit Level Eater, Dandelion like that. Sometimes I get really unlucky and hit like Dark Owl Monster Born. It's really just a gamble. We have 1 Rhoda. The warriors we're playing in the deck are Photon Thrasher, 2 Doppel Warrior, and 2 Junk Synchron. So it's just another tutor to go grab cards out of the deck. 1 charge to grab one of the 2 Reikos, and then 1 Foolish. We put Foolish in the tutor cards because you're usually foolishing to put cards that you want in the graveyard, like a Dandelion for a defensive play, or a Zephyros, or something like a Level Eater or a Doppel Warrior to pull out with Junk Synchron. Then we have our draw and our little more control cards. We play 1 Allure Darkness. A good majority of the monsters are dark. It's not a tough decision to banish a Doppel Warrior or Junk Synchron or something or a Zephyros even if we're not going to be don't think it's going to be useful in that duel. We can just banish it and we get a free 2 cards. Pot of Avarice. I think our monster counts at around 25. So we're going to be putting a lot of monsters into the grave, especially since we're playing 2 Card Trooper, 2 Reiko, and a charge. We're going to be milling a lot. So Pot of Avarice really lets us recycle some of our Synchro monsters that we used up already and put monsters back in the deck and draw 2 cards. Mind Control is much more of a defensive card. Majority of the time, we're taking control of the monster to synchro out with it. Other times, I play 1 Exceed monster in the extra, so use it for the 1 chance I'm going to go into Exceed. And then 1 for 1, it's pretty self-explanatory. We're playing 8 level 1s, so it's not hard to pitch something like a Zephyros or Level Eater to go grab a level 1 tuner that we wouldn't otherwise be able to special summon that turn. And then the only 2 traps in the deck, which are Regeki Break. This card has become really useful. I really like its interactions with other decks. It messes up a lot of plays. It's a great interruption card. It helps put more of my cards in the graveyard, like Zephyros or Level Eater or Dandelion. It's stuff that I want in the graveyard. It doesn't ever prevent me from playing Gores, and it's just a good all-around. I think it's a well-balanced card. I know it's played on Japan, but I think in this deck it works really well.
All right. Now the extra deck. Obviously we've got, the Quasar series cards.
These are the essential cards that you play in every single Quasar deck. You're going to see these in every single list that you play for Quasar. Hybrid Librarian, because you're going to be synchroning out in the first place, so you want to draw as much as you can to fill up your hand. 1 Formula, that's obviously pretty much the only way you're going to be making Quasar. And then 1 Quasar. In case not everybody knows what Shooting Quasar does, he's a 4,000 attack, 4,000 defense monster. He's a level 12. He needs 1 Tuner Synchro and 2 or more non-Tuner Synchro monsters. He can attack each time. He can attack 1 time for each non-Tuner Synchro monster that was used to make him, so he's going to attack for 8,000 every single time, and he has a free negation every turn. He can negate a spell, trap, or effect monster's effect, not just something that would destroy, just a free negation. And then when he leaves the field, he special summons a Shooting Star Dragon on the field. So the rest of our synchros are, we play one Armory Arm. It's only level 4. Just generic 4, I guess. It's the one level 4 everybody plays. For level 5, we play a Catastor in addition to Librarian. This is the only other level 5 I play. I only play 2. Large Warrior Tom, I'm going to go into a 6 and level it down, and then sync that 6 that's now a 5 with Librarian and Formula. I choose not to play, I think it's Junk Warrior. I just don't like any of the, I just really don't like any of the Synchro monsters that I'm not playing in the deck. I just don't really see the uses. I think like Junk Warrior, Natural Warrior, in my opinion, are pretty bad. One Drill Warrior, you have to play Drill Warrior for playing Quickdraw. He is a constant recycle. He can be a mini pot of avarice himself. You discard useless cards out of your hand, get cards back out of your graveyard back to your hand that would be useful. He makes infinite Dandelion tokens if you get that loop going, and he's really annoying. He has his attacks directly. He banishes himself. When he comes back, he has a chain that can't be interrupted, so he can't be torrential, bottomless, anything. Only warning can stop him. He's a difficult card to, just normal rulings on. Not a lot of people know how to play around him. One Brinac, just, generic 6, and then one Gaia Knight. I think if I was going to change anything, I'd probably take the Gaia Knight out for an Iron Chain Dragon, just so I have one other Debris Dragon target if I don't have a level 3 in the grave. Level 7s, I play one Junk Archer. I don't think a lot of people see the utility that this card brings to the table. Quickdraw is able to make him really easy, and Junk Synchro is able to make him really easy, especially if you're going Junk to pull out like a Doppel Warrior and you special another Doppel Warrior or a Raikou. You go level 7, he gets rid of Exceed monsters really easy. His effect is he can banish a monster on your opponent's side of the field, so he can even banish face downs. He can still attack the turn he activates that card. It's just the drawback is that the monster special summons back at the end phase, but it's really useful to get rid of Exceed monsters that you're not going to be able to get over, like Utopia or Zen Mains or stuff like that. You banish them, they lose their materials because they leave the field, they come back, they have no materials, and your opponent now has a dead Exceed monster. One Black Rose, standard 7. If you're going 7 at all, you have to play this card. If you're playing Debris Dragon, you have to play this card. Our level 8s are one Scrap Dragon and one Stardust. They're pretty simple across all the board if you're playing any kind of Synchro monsters. One Junk Destroyer. This is probably my favorite level 8 in the whole deck. Quickdraw and Junk Synchron just really make a lot of use out of him. Whenever he's summoned, you get to destroy a card on the field for each non-tuner monster you used to make him. So you're going to be hitting at least anywhere from 2 to 4 cards every time you make him. He's just really useful, 2600 attack, easy to make, and just destroys cards on your opponent's on the field. And then one Shooting Star, simply because when Quickdraw leaves the field, we want to be able to summon that. And that's pretty much the only time we're going to be summoning that monster. And then the one XD monster I play is a Gemini Pearl. I play a Zephyros, various other level 4s, and large majority of the monsters you're going to see in play now are going to be level 4. So, you might control to your opponent's monster, bounce one of your monsters, summon Zephyros, lay over. I think I was playing against Down a Rabbit, and I took the rabbit out of the grave, summoned my Zephyros, lay over for Pearl, then I take their rabbit play away from them. Play him over Utopia, just because that extra 100 attack points helps him swing over things that Utopia can.
Alright, so that's pretty much the deck. We did leave out staple cards. Obviously, you can figure out the staple cards on your own just by counting up the number of cards that we've shown for you today. If you have any comments or questions regarding the deck or how it runs, please leave it in the section below. Be sure to thumbs up the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And remember that it's not a pro play unless it's misplay.